Hello. Hey, y'all. Hey. I am Alisha Richard, and I just want to say thank you. Thank you all so much for listening to the podcast. Thank you all so much for sharing and just thank you. I know that this podcast is a journey for the both of us where we both are just growing and becoming the person that we need to be. And as we continue on this journey and as we reflect on the past year and we think about our new year, one of the main things that I really want us to keep in our hearts and in our minds is not being afraid to dream bigger. And a lot of times our dreams and our goals, they seem like they are just light years away. It feels like, those are things that we could never, ever really accomplish. And as we move into 2019, what I want to tell you all is to just really don't be afraid. And I'm saying this for you and I'm saying this for myself because a lot of people may look at us and they may say, well, don't you have everything you need? Like, isn't that enough? Or, someone may look up to you for who you are, and someone may think that you have it all. And in some scenarios, in some cases, a lot of us do have what we need. But it's nothing wrong with dreaming bigger. It's nothing wrong with, having a bigger goal, having a bigger dream. There is nothing wrong with that. So don't let anyone ever tell you that you are dreaming too big because all things are possible. Like that song says, all things are possible if you believe. Oh, all things are possible when you believe. So just know that all things are possible. And as we go into 2019, I don't want us to be afraid. I don't want us to be afraid of our dreams. I don't want us to be afraid of the person that we want to become. Don't be afraid of that person because there is something deep down in all of us that we are just meant to do, that we are just meant to become. And if we are afraid, then that means that we'll never reach our maximum capacity. So what I want you all to keep in mind as we go into the year of 2019 is to really go into 2019 unapologetically. Like, we're not going to apologize to anyone around us because we're dreaming big. We are not going to make excuses for ourselves because we're dreaming big. We are not going to sit in a corner this year and see everyone else around us flourish. Not to say that we're looking, but still, we do need to be mindful of what's going on around us. So as we go into this new year, and regardless if you're listening to this during the new year or, maybe in the middle of the year or whatever, just set your mind frame from here on out to just do better, to be better, to become a better person. Another thing that I want to say as well is to let's experience life. And when I say that, I mean that, we have our goals and we have our dreams and we have our visions, but we also need to experience life. And when I say that, let us experience life with our loved ones. Let us experience life with the people around us. Let us experience life, through a way of experiencing other people's cultures and visiting new areas and, trying new restaurants because we all have these goals that we want to accomplish and that's fine. But let's also make sure that we feel things as well. Let's make sure that we connect with each other. Let's make sure that we connect with the people around us and let us make sure that we connect to our careers and our lives. So I'll tell you something briefly, and I don't mind sharing my thoughts and my feelings and my opinions on the podcast because I feel like we all are growing. And where I'm at right now in my career as a photographer, I love photography. I absolutely do. But I'm getting to a point where I'm like, sweet Jesus, I love my weekends as well. So I know that in maybe in a year or a few months or whenever that my goal and my dream is to transition from being a full-time photographer to a full-time podcaster or, or into like this life coach. I really want to transition where my business is an online business. So I want you to think about what it is for you. Now, someone may look at me, and I'm not, trying to boast or brag, because look, boo, it ain't like that. But someone may look at me and say, well, you are a full-time photographer. Don't you have your dream job? And my answer is, for the most part, yeah, it's good being an entrepreneur, but at the same time, I have children that I absolutely love, and I would love to spend my Saturdays and Sundays with my kids instead of traveling all on the road all of the time. So I say that even for myself, for me to just not be bigger, and I'm saying that for you, don't be afraid to dream bigger. Don't be afraid to do more. Don't be afraid to become more, because we all have goals and we all have things that we want to do with ourselves. And as we go on this journey, and I am going to say for myself included, because, the message always comes to the messenger first, is, the one thing that I really want us to ask ourselves as we go into 2019 and as we go from here on out is, who do we need to become so that we could accomplish our goals? And I want you to ask yourself, who do you need to become so that you could reach your goals? What disciplines, what habits, what things that you need to do? What do you need to adjust so that you could achieve every single thing that you want? So as I told you all a few seconds ago, I'm looking to become a full-time podcaster. I'm just going to put it on out there in the universe and be like, all right, God, you handle it. But I am planning to make the necessary steps that I need to make so that I can transition from a photographer to a podcaster. And I want you to think about what your goals are. How are you going to make that transition? Who do you need to become so that that transition can be smooth? What do you need to do every single day to make sure that you are moving the needle forward? Another thing that I've really just been reflecting on is my word for 2019. When you set your word for the year, that means that you stick with this word. That means that this word is pretty much like your theme. It's a continuation of how you are going to live your life. When you choose your theme word for the year, you decide that helps you to make better decisions. And for last year, my word of the year was consistency. I wanted to be consistent with podcasting. I wanted to be consistent with, how I showed up in the world every single day. And this year, for the 2019, my year is actually self-discipline. We all need self-discipline. And I know what my goals are. And have you experienced this before, where you're writing your New Year's resolutions down, right? And you are writing what you want to do. And then you realize that you've already set these goals before. I know that I'm not the only one that has really had this, this moment where I was sitting down and I was writing all the things that I wanted to do for 2019. And it was I already know that I want to reach my goal weight. I already know that I want to, get this certain amount of income. I already know that I want to move. I already know all of these things. So really, I don't want your New Year's resolution to be something that you have already been doing or already set. What I want us to do in 2019 is to reflect on what we've set years before and actually do them this time. Let's not just say, I'm going to go to the gym for a couple months and then we're goals. No, let's have enough self-discipline to do those things. And once we really become the person that we've always dreamed of, then we'll see how things around us begin to change. We'll see how our income begins to change. We'll see how the people around us and the people that we are surrounded with, how our surroundings will change. So in closing, I just want to tell you all to just let's experience life. Let's make sure that we connect with those around us. Let's make sure that we say, I love you while we are on this journey. Make sure that we smile. Make sure that we bring the joy and bring the life. Also, make sure that you are consistent and you are being disciplined with every single thing that you can do, because we know how to reach our goals. It's just, are we going to do the work? And that's really why we don't achieve what we want, is because we are not doing the work. Or if we are doing the work, we're not doing the work consistently. So let's make sure that we are consistent. And the last thing I want to tell you all is to set your word for the year. What word do you want to make sure that concludes the whole entire 2019 or the whole entire theme for 2019? What word would describe, your life, and what word would describe what you want to accomplish? Mine is self-discipline. So think about what yours is. So that's all I really want to say. We're literally like a couple days away, and I just wanted to check in with you all to say hello, to let you all know that I appreciate you all for listening. I thank you for listening to me every single week, and I am so excited to see where we all are going to go. As I'm growing, you are growing, we are growing. So let's continue to grow together. And as I always say, sharing is caring. So make sure that you share the episode with someone that you absolutely love, because we are growing. Thank you so much. And the next time you hear my voice, it will officially be 2019. See you all soon. Bye-bye.